Hey YouTubers, it's Abhishek for the Wheels and Chips, and today we will be reviewing the Zebronics Zeb 523B. It's also known as the Zebronics Stacks Cabinet, predominantly because it houses the Zebronics DVD players, the 4 slots for DVD players, and that's why maybe it's called as the Stacks Cabinet. I'm not sure why, but then again, it's a beautiful cabinet that's affordable as well for around 4,500 rupees in India. It has a top ventilation, front ventilation, back ventilation, and bottom ventilation as well. It's a pretty darn nice cabinet. So enough with the jibber jabber, and without any further ado, let's begin. The depth of the cabinet is around 190mm, and the front houses the 4 DVD slots as well as the ventilation grills for the front fan. The height of the cabinet is around 425mm, while the breadth is around 450mm. The dimensions are adequate enough to house a single AMD R9 290. The Zeb 523B has 5 exhaust vents placed on the sides, rear, front, bottom, and top. The exhaust vents are complemented by 3 120mm fans, 2 of which are placed on the side, while the third one is placed on the front. The fans also feature LED lighting to give it a subtle gamer's look without being too intimidating. The ventilation grills on the front are not easily noticeable and are cleverly designed. The fans underneath it directly cool the tray of hard disks. The whole cabinet can be easily opened by these 4 thumb screws. It's a pretty easy job. You don't need any tools for that, and I really love these kinds of designs. And these back plates are also easily removable in case you want to put in some kind of sound cards or your graphic card or your input-output slots or whatever floats your boat. So in that way, these are pretty nice. It's a pretty nice design. I personally like the thumb screws. I feel they are awesome, and almost every cabinet manufacturer should include them because they're awesome. So let me quickly remove them. Okay. Yeah, nice. Opening the cabinet gives you a somewhat dual chamber kind of a design. You can route your wiring from here to make the other side relatively clean, but I don't see the point of it because this is a completely closed cabinet with no openings whatsoever. So I don't really see the point of having a really neat cable management except for having a nice airflow. So in that regards, I'll give props to Zebronics for actually including this even though it's a closed cabinet. The efficiency of your airflow increases by a large margin if your cables are well managed. So in that regard, it's pretty nice, and the metal is tough as well. Zebronics claims that it's around 0.5mm thick. I'm not sure how to read the box again actually to be precise of the numbers, but really it does feel like it's very solid. I've used a couple of other budget cabinets so far and it feels absolutely sturdy. It's nice. I like the plastics. They don't feel cheap at all. Like I mentioned earlier, it's pretty darn nice. The whole cabinet feels so solid and it's good. I really like it. Okay, let me just flip this over so I can give you a view of the other side. Okay, this is the other side of the cabinet, and it's not really special in any way. It looks pretty bare bones, and this is the flap that's used to remove these pins so that you can access the underlying DVD slot. DVD slot. I wonder who uses DVD slots these days. And these are the hard disk drive slots, and you can also fill them up with SSDs, and you can also fill these slots up with SSDs or hard disks. Who's asking you? It's your cabinet, so you can do whatever you want to. And yep, they're easily removable, and these plastics do look a little flimsy. And since you're not going to be removing it often, I don't think it's going to be big of an issue. But then again, there's no stabilization provided within this. So if you're going to be constantly moving your cabinet, give me a minute over here. Yep, so if you're going to be constantly moving your cabinet here and there, your hard disk might suffer a tiny bit, I guess, as long as you're not going to move it in a harsh manner like, yeah, this is Sparta. So as long as you're not going to be doing that, it's going to be fine. And in places like India where you're going to keep your cabinet under your computer table and forget it until you're going to modify it or until it stops working or something goes wrong, I don't think you have pretty much to worry about these stabilization issues. They're not pretty big of a deal. Who carries or moves his cabinet often? So that's pretty much okay for the price. I can live with that, no problemo. And the cable management is not really there. I'll be covering that in my cons. You don't have a proper cable management within this, but as I said, if you're going to route it, outside of the second chamber, you're not going to worry about that much because it's not going to hinder the airflow in any way if you're going to route it through the other side. So I guess that's okay on Zebronics part. So this is the flap of the plastic which you can open to remove these slots if you're going to place your different kinds of opening slots or input output slots. So yeah, it's pretty nice on the inside except for these cables which you'll obviously be routing for the other side. It also has a raised bottom, as you can see over here. For the pricing, I'd say that the bottom ventilation is pretty nice, and if you're going to place it on a mat, your PSU is still not going to fry. And yes, for the record, it has a bottom mounted PSU, which is pretty darn good for the pricing. So yeah, all in all, the insides look great. I'm impressed. I love the build quality personally. The matte finish and the plastics are pretty sweet. So let's move to the knobs and the USB ports.
The top panel houses the power button, 4 USB ports, 2 of which are 2.0 and the rest are 3.0. The fans can be controlled using the dedicated control button towards the front on the top of the cabinet, which will help you achieve that positive or negative airflow if you decide on going with the negative airflow for some reason. This is the ventilation grill provided on the top, and I must say, it looks very nice aesthetically. A touch futuristic, one might say.
So this is the flap, and these are the two fans that are lit by these LEDs. I'm sorry, this is the LED connection, and I'm searching for the LED. Yeah, this one's out actually. It was properly in. These are the LEDs, and they glow in red as per Zebronics specifications. Although I've seen some photos in which they're glowing in blue actually. I couldn't test them out myself because my PSU is not functional, and I'm pretty sorry. We actually moved to laptops. I mean, pretty nice Core i7 4720HQ laptops. So yeah, we're definitely not peasants, okay? Not peasants or not using low configuration to edit our videos. That's an i7, that's desktop grade, 4720HQ, Google it. Yeah. With that out of the way and with all that show ups, let me continue. These two are 120mm fans. They do look kind of like a soft touch plastic. They don't look like they're glass or they're going to break. I mean, they do look like they're glass, but they don't feel like they're glass and they're going to break off pretty soon. So yeah, pretty nice ones actually. See, they rotate well. Okay, that was a try at a joke and it clearly failed. Pretty bad jokes. Shouldn't do that next time. Anyways, nice with the aesthetics. They will obviously look nice once they're on, but unfortunately you cannot switch them off. More on that on the cons section. So yeah, it looks nice with the grills. They're not filters obviously, but they do look pretty darn nice. I've already seen cabinets in the budget range implementing a dual fan system on the sides, but they don't nearly have this kind of a nice appeal to them. Maybe it's because of the LED or maybe it's because of the white ice kind of fan layout. I don't know what it is, but they do look really, really sweet when they're on. So that's pretty much it about the overall review of the Zebronics Zeb 523B. Let's move on to the pros and cons section where we actually deal with whether you should get this stuff or not. So yeah, let's quickly begin. So we come to the closing segments of video, and as with every device, this device has its own fair share of pros and cons. So we'll be listing out the pros and cons to help you make your decision. Here are a list of pros.
That's 7 of the many pros this cabinet has.
So those were the list of pros. Now let's move on to the cons. So let's begin with the con number 1.
The LED lights cannot be turned off unless you unplug them from within. The ability to control these LED lights would have been great, but for the cost I think we can adjust with the lighting. Number 2. We feel that the cabinet does not have enough space to SLI or crossfire 2 graphic cards. These are obvious nitpicks rather than deal breakers, and for the price range I'd say that this cabinet is amazing.
So that's pretty much it for this video, and if you like this video, please do give us a like and subscribe down below. That seriously helps. And in case you missed out, we also have a review of the Zebronics Alien mouse. Click over here to check that out. That's a pretty nice review and a pretty nice mouse as well. And please do keep your subscriptions and your likes and your support coming. We really need that. So we have a ton of content coming up. Do follow us on social media like Facebook, Twitter, etc., whatever we are in. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks a ton for watching, and the Subshake signing off. Bye.